Okay, this is a quick video on some of the issues I had switching from my old Android, the Galaxy S5 Active, to the new Galaxy S8. One thing that I couldn't find answers to was on my S5 I had very little space. I had 128 gigs of external storage, but internally I had very little space left, which caused some problems. And what I did with this phone is I constantly took whenever the application was available to be stored onto the card, that's what I did. And with this, of course, you have 64 built in, and then if I put this over, I will have the 128 to add on top. Now, my question to everyone that I know that had the S5 was, do I keep this in here first, do the transfer, or put it in the new phone and then do the transfer? Nobody was able to tell me. So, what I did was I did the transfer first. And just off the topic for a while is that when you get this phone, don't be afraid. You know, you can have the card in or without. You know, basically just put the SIM card in, because the SIM card is a little different. You could put the same SIM card here from here, which is a micro SIM, to the tray, but then you won't have space for this. They also have the tray for the nano SIM, and the nano SIM is smaller, and it cost me $5 and change in the AT&T store. So this is an unlocked phone. So what I did is got a new nano SIM card, which gives me more space for the tray. I'm pretty sure you can find this online. I'll show it to you, but basically this is how the tray looks like, and that's a nano SIM. And you can put this here. My problem was, okay, so now what I did was I did a transfer first. So when you turn on the phone, it'll ask you, do you want to back up from Samsung? Just say yes to everything. And what it did is it backed up some of my contacts that was on my Google, but not on the device, because I have the contacts that's also stored on the device. But we're going to SmartSwitch for that, and transfer over some apps like Facebook, Skype didn't transfer over, and you know, basic stuff like some pictures went over. The picture that was stored on my Google Drive was switched over. On my Google Photos was switched over. So most of your Google stuff will switch over. And Samsung backups some of the stuff on the Samsung account. Now, not everything comes over. So when I want to do the SmartSwitch, I had a little problem was I already put this card here. Actually, I started out with this card being here. And then I tried to do the SmartSwitch. And you can see that if I wanted to do the SmartSwitch, I realized that a lot of these apps that was on the card was grayed out. So with that being grayed out, you will have an issue where you can't really delete this app here and switch it over, and then you will lose information and content that was here. For example, my WeChat and some of the stuff that chat programs that had, or my Line also, that has pictures already and some files I have that's already on here. You can actually open it up here, but those files will be gone. So what I had to do is, I learned the hard way, is actually, after everything's set up and done, take the storage card. If you have apps that's sharing storage, because with Samsung, the apps, if you share it, if you put it on the external card, which is this, they keep part of it on the internal, and they pull up most of the content from the card. So it's kind of half and half. Not half and half, but you know, 2/3 and 1/3. So what you're going to do is you're going to put the card back. Once you put the card back, you'll see that everything will be on, and you can do the transfer. So that's the first caveat I had. So once you put the card back in, you see these grayed out bars will be gone. The second part is, I mean, might as well do that now since I'm here. Let's do it. Okay, you know, easy to show than to. I'm not really a video blogger, but this is just the problems I had, and you know what? I thought that maybe other people would have the same problem. So, my recommendation: keep your storage card on the old unit first, and I'll pop your new SIM card in, activate the phone, and then do the SmartSwitch. After everything is done from your backup, then do the SmartSwitch. Now, you can do the SmartSwitch via Wi-Fi or via the cable. I recommend via the cable because I tried to do it via the Wi-Fi, and my Wi-Fi had an issue where it says it's not enough space, which is because I keep very little space on here. I had only almost about like 900 megs on the phone, which was not enough because you need at least 1/3 more for cache. And that's why when you try to do it over Wi-Fi, unless you don't want to select everything and you will have enough space. For me, I was transferring over 1.9 gigs over, and even though I had 900 megs of space, it says not enough space. And I know that because there's not enough cache. I tried wiping the cache from root, that didn't work. And so I did it through the hard line. So if you want to do it through Wi-Fi, just remember you gotta have at least a little more than half the space that you're transferring over, at least more than half the space you're transferring over, more than. So if I have 1.9 gigs, I would need at least more than 900 megs. But with the wires, you don't have to. And also with the Wi-Fi, you have to remember first put yourself on the same Wi-Fi, and you have to download the SmartSwitch onto your old device if you don't have that in here. I didn't have it, so I had to download it. Now with the second part, with the wire part, the only thing is, it's actually very simple. They show you how to do it online, but the only caveat is, remember, first try to charge as much as you can, because you don't know how long it's going to take. My transfer over was about 1.9 gigs. It was about, like, it says 2 hours and 40 minutes. Believe it or not, when they say 2 hours 40 minutes, it finished within an hour. So I would just charge both of them up. And when you do the SmartSwitch from the wire, you only need to have the app on the new device. You don't have to have it on the old device. It'll work fine. And what you do is, let me turn this on. And I know people showed it on the internet, but there's one little caveat. Okay, let me just turn this on. Of course, I'm new to this. I'll make sure my phone cover. Okay, so when you do this, of course, you have your adapter. You have your old cable from this device hooked up. I'm going over this real fast because everybody else has this online already, so it's no big deal. Once you hook this up, it'll ask you to do SmartSwitch, which just came up, or it didn't came up before. So you just go into settings, and you go into secure. No, you go into I'm still new at this. Cloud and accounts, and on the bottom you'll see SmartSwitch. I'm not sure you can see it from here. It's kind of hard to see. Pretty bright here, and it'll ask you if you want to do this via cable or wireless. So we're doing this via cable, and then you'll see that nothing happens. And I was following this direction, and I realized nothing happens, and it keeps telling me to do. Then I was stuck here for a few minutes. So it turns out what you have to do is you have to turn this app on first, right? Turn on SmartSwitch first. Not have anything connected. Once you start SmartSwitch cable, then you plug it in. And once you plug it in, you'll get the next part, what you see on all the other videos. That if this phone's to receive or send, of course you're going to hit receive because you're sending it over from the old phone. Now this means that if you do it via wire, you don't have to have this app on the old device, and turn on this SmartSwitch first and then connect. That's all I have to say. That everything else is actually pretty self-explanatory. There's a lot of tips online that tells you the 10 first things you want to do. You know, I'm not going to get into that because everybody has their own preference. But the things I was stuck on was one, the SmartSwitch with the cabling, which you have to turn on the device on a new the SmartSwitch on a new device, and then connect the cable. And the other part was with the storage card. Where should it be when I first initially do the transfer? So for me, it should be on the old one because most of my apps are on the external SD card. So for the people who doesn't have that on the SD card and they have most of their apps natively on the phone, this shouldn't be a problem. Okay, that's all I have to say. Thanks. Bye.